So yeah, just as Taylor said, we have a shop that's down on Portobello Road. It's only been running for just over a year, but we have been in the industry for just over, well, coming up for 5 years now, which has been a blessing, really. So to be in an industry that's sustainable, that can give back, and that's pretty much how Hale and I met, and I'm really pleased to be here, to be able to give back, and we're here in support of the Tony Samara Foundation. And so a small proceed from any sales that we make today will offer you a 5% discount, and equally we'll make a small donation to the Samara Foundation and the projects that they support, some of those being bee repopulation, forestry and WWF. So if you would like to support us, by all means, just mention Tony5 when you visit our store online over the phone, or if you come into the store yourself, and we will give you that 5% discount and pass the proceeds on to a good and worthy cause, because we'd like to save the planet, or at least what's left of it. So how I got involved in the hemp industry was really by fluke. I'm originally South African, as you can tell, the funny little accent that's going. And I stumbled into it quite funnily with my partner, who I'm currently still work with. He has a multitude of health issues, and we found the hemp extract ourselves a number of years back, very skeptical, and we asked the reseller for everything down to the color of their socks to make sure that we weren't being sold snake oil. It took the better part of about 2 or 3 weeks before he yielded any benefits from them, and from that point onwards we were singing it and shouting it from the rooftops, and he said, we need to start a company because I need hemp in my life and I'm not going to be able to exist without it. And the rest is pretty much history. So the only reason we would ever want to sell any hemp products in this country is if we were able to source the supply chain all the way back. So the seed to shelf, as you hear in America, that's what we look for when we want to stock a product on our shelves. We know that the industrial hemp has been available for many years, and it hasn't been a restricted crop, but not many people have been doing anything with it other than using it within commerce for textiles and pet bedding and so on and so forth. And then the supplements industry took off, and bam, everybody wanted to start farming with hemp for a very completely different reason. And so we have products like you see behind me here available for us to consume. But the tricky part comes into supply chain. Where's it come from? Where's it been grown? How's it been extracted? Has it been tested? Can I trust this product, and is it a medicine? Well, no, we can't endorse our products as medicines, but we know that 99% of our customer base are choosing to do so. So hemp oil would be like cannabis oil, but without the head buzz or the THC element that we always look for within the cannabis plant. So when you've got your customer that is looking for the buzz, we are not going to be entertaining them because we cannot achieve that buzz that they're looking for. What we can do is we can encourage you to look at I can't say the health benefits, but look at why you would be taking the plant. The plant is information for your body just like food is. And so when you break the different compounds down, you can then start to have a look at how they work together synergistically with each other. So you've got things like cannabinoids, you've got terpenoids, you've got terpenes, you've got flavonoids, you've got the omegas, the amino acids, the omegas, you've got chlorophyll content. You know, there's a lot going on in the plant that not many people really fully understand, and everybody just understands THC. So THC is just one compound, tetrahydrocannabinol. Yes, it gives you a head buzz, but what else? Why else would you have hemp? So we've got something called an endocannabinoid system, which a lot of you might have already heard of. We refer to it in a tagline called Feed Your ECS. So feeding your ECS means that you are wanting to communicate with your body in a completely different way by feeding it the compounds that the plant produces. Your body actually produces the same compounds, but we've worn out of these compounds through our Western diets and the environmental factors that affect us. And so when you deplete yourself, you become, say, deficient. So we're looking at products that can restore or repair your endocannabinoid system, and that's primarily what we're here to do. We also want to be able to help educate the consumer on how to shop for a good quality oil and not be duped by snake oil resellers or somebody who's just in it for profit. I welcome you to stop me at any point if you have a question. I do talk a little fast. I think it's the Irish descent, so do apologize. I'm just going to take a look at some of the products that we have on the shelf and talk through them. I won't go into too much depth because it will become a little boring, because I can digress and that's just passion. But the first product that we started with was under a brand called Plus CBD Oil, and Plus CBD Oil is actually an American-based company. They floated on the stock market. They're really good for education. You know, they do good. They've put back into the American farming. They want to regenerate the American farming. but they still do farm out in Eastern Europe, and they use 3 proprietary strains to produce the full line of products that they offer us. We've been working with them since 2013, and they're great. They're pioneers in the industry. They've done a lot for everybody in terms of bringing to the forefront education on the hemp plant and also the compounds within the plant and how it works together with your body. So we only entertain products that we consider full spectrum. You get 2 different types of products within the market. You get isolate and you get full spectrum products. Full spectrum products will allow for the entourage effect to take place within your endocannabinoid system. And isolate means that you've isolated one compound out of the many hundred that the plant produces. And so if you're taking something in an isolate form, you may well take 200 times the amount to achieve the same as you would from taking something full spectrum. Full spectrum means there's more than one compound in the extract that you're currently consuming. So you can take them in the form of what we call raw products. Raw products would be from the first extract. This company uses a process called supercritical CO2. There are many extraction forms, and I won't go into too much detail, but just to give you an idea, supercritical CO2 is used predominantly across the Europe. It's very safe to use, but it's also quite a costly process. You've got 2 processes. You've got supercritical and subcritical. These are supercritical, so they use a little bit more heat. Subcritical would be at a lower temperature. And they extract the compounds through the heat and the pressure that the machine would use to extract from the plant itself. So this would be your first extract, and these are raw products. You would have to activate the compounds. So to activate them, it has to move through a process called decarboxylation, which essentially activate the cannabinoids from their raw state into their active state. So if you've heard of CBD, the precursor to CBD is CBDA, which is CBD or cannabidiolic acid. So cannabidiolic acid converts into cannabidiol the minute you decarboxylate it. Equally, if you were to ingest this through your digestive process, you could activate the compounds, and so you've got a merry little entourage going on with the raw compounds warming up inside the body and partially decarboxylating upon ingestion. So these are little soft gels. My favorite would be in the form of a concentrate or in an oil that would be held under the tongue, held sublingually. But the raw soft gels are great in that if you don't really like the taste, down the hatch, in it goes, and so you just wait for that to start interacting with your endocannabinoid system. All these products by nature are fat soluble, so they're encouraged by taking it alongside a good fat. I'm not a big advocate on dairy, so I would suggest taking something like a wedge of avocado, good quality olive oil, coconut oil, fractionated coconut oil, any plant-based milks, something like that would encourage the breakdown of this product into your body. That's your raw. If you wanted to look at something that was activated, sprays, capsules, concentrates, the likes thereof. So this would be a concentrate. A concentrate you could apply if you wanted to flood your system, So flooding your system means I've never tried this product before. I'd like to see if I can get on with it. And so you take a larger serving size over a short period of time, and then you will taper off that serving size, and you'll see how your body responds to you taking a lower serving size. And that can be achieved with this decarboxylated product, which is also derived from the industrial hemp, as it's under the Plus CBD oil range brand. And so this little pen here will yield you, let's see what have we got. We've got a 1 gram. So you'll yield yourself 20 servings out of this 1 gram pen, and it's designed to give you a measured serving size by simply dialing the lock at the end of the pen, and it will expel the oil for you. And then all you have to do is take the product, hold it under your tongue once you've got your serving size. You can take it alongside a good fat, so you may hold it with a good fat, or you may chase it to clear the palate. With industrial hemp, you're most likely to want to chase it to clear the palate. Some people really enjoy the strength of it, or the botanical extract, the strength of that on its own, whereas others really struggle. And so it is down to the user how it is that you'd like to consume it with or alongside a good fat, as long as it's within a 2-hour window of consuming the product itself. So that's your concentrate, 20 days. And then you might want to, after say your 20 days, switch over to something like this, which would give you a lower serving size. Still an activated oil, but a washed down version, if you like, of this. So mixed with olive oil, you could either go for something that is peppermint, and I mean by mouthwashy peppermint, or you can go unflavored. And this bottle here will yield you 80 servings. So you've got 80 servings of 1 milligrams each, which is pretty low, and you could go higher if you like, to something that would give you 3 milligrams every couple of sprays, and that would give you 160 servings per bottle. Price points vary rarely, and it does depend on budget and also how far along you are into the journey of researching hemp yourself and whether or not you wanted to add that into your daily regime. We've also got gold label products, which are of a higher strength, meaning that the CBD compound alone will be in its highest form. So these here would be 24% or 240 milligrams per mil, whereas these here, you're looking at 141 milligrams or 14.1% per mil. This has gone through a tertiary process, so you've got the extract of CO2, the decarboxylation, which activates them, and then you've got something called distilled filtration. And distilled filtration will remove the chlorophyll content as well as the residual plant matter, and you'll end up with what looks like a soft yellow jelly. If you looked at this product on its own in its concentrated form, it's thick, black and tarry, akin to cannabis oil that you've seen, like the Rick Simpson oil, for example. You know, you've seen it's thick, black and tarry, very similar to this, but when you distill filtration it, you end up with this gold-like product, and that's why you've got the gold label on it. These are available in concentrates, drops, raw soft gels, beg your pardon, and also in the form of this cream which you can rub onto the skin. These are all different delivery methods, and I'll try and discuss delivery methods just after I've gone through the range of products from industrial through over into the domestic ranges. So the higher yielding products in CBD will generally be used by individuals that are looking to achieve faster effect. We can't say effects because you don't have an effect of CBD, but you're trying to get a higher serving inside your endocannabinoid system simply because you might be looking to use it in a different way from another person. So a lot of our customers will take, say, the gold product in the evening, and they might take the green product in the daytime. And it just depends on what you get on with. It might be the other way around. It's all down to the individual's chemistry. It's down to what you eat. It's down to the environmental factors and how they affect you in your daily life. I'm going to look at one more, and that is a Zen shot. And a Zen shot, so those kind of looked more like medicines, if you like, and people looking at these things and they go, what are those? Are those injections? Do you put them in, do you inject them into your skin? No, you don't. These products are these are all for oral use, so they move through your digestive tract, meaning your digestive tract has to deal with everything that it's breaking down. So the best way to consume a product orally, hold it under the tongue sublingually like a homeopathic remedy, hold it there for 30 seconds and then swallow. If it's not already mixed with a good fat, you chase it or you consume it alongside a good fat. And that's what makes the product more bioavailable to your system. So it's making the best out of what you've just spent your money on, essentially. Then we move on to Zen Shot. The Zen Shot is quite a high serving size. It's 40 milligrams. This is, if you look at the marketing, it says meditation and yoga all over it. And it is quite a nice little product. Yes, it is quite tarty, it's berry in flavor, but it's nice to mix it with a bit of water, drink it down the hatch, and then maybe go to your yoga lesson and see just how much more you enjoy your yoga lesson. Because I can't talk about the health benefits, but we all know hemp makes you feel good. Okay, so that's our industrial hemp range in a nutshell. If I move on to something like, well, I'm not going to go there just yet, that's a little pioneering. We'll go over here to Palmetto Harmony, a beautiful narrative behind this brand. This is domestic hemp, and domestic hemp is slightly different to industrial hemp in that, one, industrial farm licenses across Europe have not been updated since the Second World War. We hope that will change over time with cooperatives. We encourage the cooperatives to try and get new seeds approved so that we can start experimenting with more things and having more opportunities available to us in Europe, because we don't like always having to import things. We'd like to have things here on our doorstep, and that's quite difficult at this stage because the industry is still very much in its infancy. So we've gone out of our way to try and bring you what America produces so that we can see what we're missing out on, and hopefully we'll be able to pioneer some things ourselves here across in Europe. So Palmetto Harmony was founded by Janelle Ralph. Her daughter unfortunately suffers with neurological damage as well as epileptic seizures, and whilst we can't claim that our products are medicines, they cannot treat, prevent or cure disease, we've got a very large customer base who are choosing to use these products as their own medicines, and we make them freely available. You do not need a prescription from a doctor. You can come into the store and you can purchase the products as you like, but we are unable to give you any medical advice because we're not in a position to do so. All of our products are sold as dietary food supplements, as vape oils or as beauty creams, but we are unable to take it any further beyond that. What we can do is we can educate you about where they're found, we can educate you about the supply chain, the delivery method, why you may want to use domestic hemp over industrial hemp, and equally we'll always produce what is called a third-party laboratory report that is based on the end product you're consuming, not a lab report that's based on the batch that's going to make the end product you're consuming, because of course then the potency would be a lot higher and you're thinking you're getting a lot more but you're getting a lot less. So we like to defunk all of that by just making it very scientific, but also very accessible to you. So the Palmetto Harmony brand is farmed out in Kentucky in America. They've got a massive following, and they're also heavily involved in trying to support the hemp farm bills and advocate for for the legality of it and access to it, and they do a lot of work behind the scenes, not only from that aspect but also from a scientific view. They're constantly trying to improve their line. And that being said, I'm just thinking they've just recently rebranded, so these products right here are not going to look like what we have available right now. They're a little bit more lemon colored, and I think that's because of a recent birth in the family. So I don't know, but I think that might have something to do with it because a beautiful little baby was born. So we've got products like oils in the forms of drops. We've got capsules. There are transdermal patches. There are also vapes, and also suppositories, which you might sound a little scary, but there is a place for them, and they're actually one of my favorite products simply because of the delivery method. They're not scary, but equally people don't know enough about them, so with enough misinformation, just like hemp, you'll turn the other way and run if you don't know enough. So we're here just to make you feel a little bit more relaxed about all delivery methods, if you like. The capsules, for example, that I have over here, they're 10 milligrams each. They will contain 2 strains. The 2 strains we know, the full transparency is there. We've got Valentine X and ACDC. They use a botanical extract, not CO2. So botanical extract means that they steep the material through a fat, and then they will draw the material out of that fat, and that will be the extract that they use to make up the full range of their products. An extract of this nature will preserve the compounds that much better. That means you'll get many more cannabinoids and many more terpenes available in the end product that you're looking to consume, and so the entourage effect is that much better than of just a cannabinoid content and or just a terpene content, because both means that you've got more synergy going on. Nobody's really talking about, there's a little bit of buzz around it, but there are more compounds to be discovered, and that's in the form of flavonoids, but that's another conversation for another festival, so we'll leave it at that. So that's a little bit of palmetto. They also do things like creams, and creams just like you have here. This is a salve. A salve is a bit more sticky. A cream is something you massage in as well, but will be more of a cream base. So that's Africa shea butter. That's the base oil here. And you can rub this into the base of the feet because that's a highly venous area, so it gets into the system a lot faster. And so creams are referred to as being a direct delivery. Doesn't contend with your digestive tract, straight into the system, but equally be shorter lived because it's not moving through the digestive tract. And so you could apply this sort of every 1 to 2 hours or as and when necessary. Point, there is no unsafe serving on hemp products. Whilst cannabinoids are slippery in nature and they can bypass the blood-brain barrier, they do not interfere with the cortex where the heart rate and breathing is controlled. So there's no harm in consuming massive amounts of this. So I could potentially rub all of this cream on my body. I could drink this bottle, I could drink that bottle. I probably wouldn't feel too good, obviously, with too much liquid in the belly, but equally you're not going to overdose. You may well just feel a little nauseous and unwell for having consumed that much liquid. Okay, these creams here are amazing, by the way. There's Cannasens, Holy Cannasens, and equally Syrian. They blended with different essentials and or herbs. One of my favorite being the frankincense, which is in this little boy over here. And then it's got a nice sweet orange flavor to it. So when you're rubbing that in, you've got the aroma of the orange mixed with the frankincense. And frankincense is an amazing ingredient on its own and or mixed in with any hemp extract. Little beauty tip for ladies, frankincense, amazing. Okay, when I look at the Pure Ratios line, for example, we've got different delivery methods here again. So yeah, they do a salve. We've spoken about salves. They do lip balms. That's another one. We've got a little roll-on, looks like a lady's lip gloss, nice as under the eyes, but equally if you just wanted to rub it into the joints. MCT oil, a fractionated coconut oil, great mixed with a beautiful blend of other ingredients. And this brand was actually developed by a team of Chinese herbalist doctors. And so they've identified herbs and essentials that complement the cannabis plant. And so that's how they've made up their formulations. They do have a vape line. We don't have here another direct delivery method. So vaping and also your creams are what we call direct delivery methods. They're shorter lived, but they're instant, as opposed to taking something through your digestive tract. The vape line, as well as the patches that they do, the roll-ons, the lip balm, etc., they're all, as I said, they're all infused with the essentials and herbs, and they're mixed with things like frankincense, myrrh, turmeric, black cardamom, natural terpenes, lemon and ginger, and that's kind of the formula. There will be others outside of that. We'll have things like calendula in and or sage, but we can explore that from our website if you're interested. I'm going to move on to the next one. I don't know if any of you have heard of. Has anyone heard of the weed nuns in California? Yes. They're my favorite simply because we're here on a full moon, the 23rd, and they developed their line around the full moons. So I get goosebumps. So anyway, so we've got a 500 milligram in a 60 ml bottle and a 1000 milligram in a 60 ml bottle. There's also a 250 milligram in a 30 ml bottle, and they've got salves, and they've also got their soaps. But these are absolutely gorgeous. There's mantra put into them. There's mantra put into the whole harvest. There's just, you know, it's not a conveyor belt of product that's going out there. This is just love, care, and attention that goes into every line. They still do lab tests, so they're meeting the criteria that we need to ensure that we're delivering you a quality product and not just a narrative to a quality product that could be potentially something else. These are beautiful. You have to come over and have a smell on them, but these are used in their ceremonies, and equally before they start working with anything, they'll wash their hands with their soap that are handmade. These drops are just multi-use. You can use them as an everyday essential, or you may choose to use them for other purposes. Again, we won't make any claims. These here are steeped through olive oil, which is beautiful. So again, a lovely profile, and the flavor on them is just something else. Light buttery lemon is all I can say is when I think about the taste or the flavor. That's the only way I could describe it to you. And they're equally available from California, grown under the natural sun. I'm now going to move on to something that's a little different, a little different. We'll start with terpenes, for example. These. Terpenes are hydrocarbons that are presented in all plant life. So whether you're smelling lavender or a rose and you close your eyes, you'll be able to identify that because of the blend of flavors or the blend of aromas that are within that particular product or natural product that you're looking at, or not looking at, sniffing. You do not have to extract terpenes just from cannabis to get what we call strain-specific terpenes. These strain-specific terpenes have been extracted from isolated forms, meaning that in a rose or in your bush of lavender or even in your cannabis plant, if you've got limonene in it, limonene, whether it's present in cannabis, present in frankincense, present in rose, whatever it is, it's going to be the same compound that is presented over and over again. Of course, if you are to extract a terpene from a strain itself, you'll get the trace levels of everything else in there, which is gorgeous, but unfortunately, as the industry stands, it will push your price point up to a point you would just not be interested in. So you're talking about $300 a gram of cannabis-derived terpenes, which is just not achievable, and especially if you're trying to create an end product, your consumer's not going to meet that. It might be nice for you to do at home, but not really nice to purchase from a store. So these here are slightly more affordable in terms of them being extracted from isolated forms. And so the strain specific is, right, which terpenes are found in the Super Lemon Haze strain? Let's play a little, and they'll put together the ensemble of that, and that's what you have here. These are amazing. They are so diverse, but equally they're very volatile. So if you left the lid off, that would be an expensive mistake to make because you'd find your bottle empty. So you always keep the lid on. I'm just going to take one out to give you an idea of what they look like. They're a clear liquid, a little bit like Alice in Wonderland. You've got your little pipette dispenser, your little bottle, and they smell amazing, amazing. So you open that up, you take out however much you want. Generally speaking, we'll take about a 500 milliliter of water at work. We'll put 2 drops in, and we'll just see what happens. A general decongestion over the face that dissipates, and then you suddenly feel a little bit more alert, a little bit more perky, and depending on which one you've picked, that's what your ride's going to be all about. So we've got things like Sunset Sherbet, Headband, XJ13, Durban Poison, Granddaddy Purple, and so on and so forth, and we'll be expanding on those lines, but at the moment we've got 6 strain-specific terpenes available. These can be used in vapes, in drink, in food, in bathing, and if you turn any of your cleaning products around at home, flip them over and go and have a look for alpinine, linalool, or limonene. Those are your terpenes that we're talking about here. Those are the isolated versions of them. These are an ensemble of those isolated versions to make up the strain-specific terpene. That's terpenes for you in a nutshell. The last one, which I've kept till the end on purpose, are these. These are hemp buds. These are hemp buds that have been farmed in Switzerland, and I'm going to take one out just so you can see. This right here is Purple Haze, very popular strain that we have, and they are formed and grown very much like cannabis. And we know we've all got the spice epidemic where youngsters are getting involved with things that just don't do them any good. And you've got people that have smoked cannabis that are of high THC content, but they just can't handle it, or it's freaked them out, or they've ended up with mental health illnesses, but they still enjoy smoking and they'd love to be able to smoke, but they just can't do it. As far as I'm concerned, that's the antidote to it. remove spice. You don't always need high THC. I don't need high THC, and I can certainly smoke this during the day and I'm still productive. So this is what we call productive weed, if you like. It doesn't give you a head buzz, because the psychoactivity only kicks in at about 3 or 4%. This is below 1%, never higher than 1%. So the psychoactivity is not there, but you've got an abundance of CBD and you've got trace levels of other cannabinoids. So this right here could be smoked in a herbal vaporizer. You could roll them up in one of our, one second. You could use one of our vegan wraps that are made from hemp, and they are beautiful. The Maui mango is particularly loud in flavor. The honey pot is a lot more subtle, and then we've got original. You get 2 blunts and 2 filter tips, and you can roll them up using that. Or you could go for the actual booklets of the Kings or the 1 1/4 blades. The buds are also universal. You could make yourself a beautiful pot of tea. Remember that all of these are fat soluble by nature, so you might want to add a dollop of oil to that just to increase the bioavailability. You could have a very expensive bath, or you could convert it into something like canna butter. You could equally squash the bud, which means you would extract the oil from it in a solventless way. Something I didn't mention is we're also stockists of what is known as Sasquatch rosin presses, and a rosin press is a solventless extraction process whereby you take the bud, you will compress it between 2 plates and you adjust the heat settings, and then you will get, say, very creamy or very shatter-like consistency, or should I say rosin oil consistency extract from that with no solvent being present. You'll end up with a puck of your flower being pressed, and nothing goes to waste, as we all know. So take your empty coconut jar, add your pucks in there, and then as they build up, you can add some more coconut. When you're making your next curry, add that to the blender. You're adding some goodness back into your meal again, so nothing goes to waste. But the oil that you extract, remember, you're not going to get a massive amount of oil when you press the bud unless you've got a really good quality bud. So the yield on your bud itself depends on the actual grow and the curing of it. And so you can take the oil, and again, that becomes quite universal. You may choose to eat it, vape it, make it into, put it into food. It really is down to the individual what you'd like to do with it. And that's kind of what we do. We like to bring people down into store, give you the experience. We're not very fancy and cosmetic, but we've definitely got enough to share in terms of the experiences that we've had and the scholars that we've met. So we're very grateful to have been given the opportunity to learn all about the plant as much as we've had. There's still much more room to grow, so we also welcome those down into our space that want to share with us and also learn and or grow. And we're always looking to evolve and add new products to our shelves. If you've got anything that you think might be of interest to us, we'd like to talk to you. If you wanted to know more about the plant and or extractions and or how to use the products, that's what we're there for too. So we're offer consultations, but equally we're available in store from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day of the week. That's Monday to Sunday. And yeah, we've got phone lines, emails, in person, social media, the whole shebanga. We most recently just started supporting an MMA fighter, Sam Creasy. Amazing, because we see abroad the UFC fighters and we see the Nick and the Nate Diaz's of the world, and we see them using CBDs, and we're now kind of hopping on the bandwagon. But it's amazing to watch endurance sports athletes taking to these products to see how it works on their performance. One product that Sam really loves, and I haven't mentioned to you, and I'll do very quickly because I'm kind of wrapping up, is the Shilajit. Shilajit, very funny story how we managed to stock this product on our shelves, is my partner and I were briefly discussing about yields, because we're wanting to introduce organic gardening solutions, and I was suggesting that Tiger's Eye would yield you a better crop of whatever you're trying to grow. And his response was, no offense, baloney. I found something better, and Bob's your uncle, we ended up with Shilajit. This product here is the only one that's lab tested on the market to prove that it's not laced with heavy metals, because that seems to be a problem within the Shilajit market. So it acts as a slight detox for the first 4 to 5 days, and then thereafter you level out. It's a cannabinoid enhancer, so it works together synergistically again with the oils that I've just spoken about here. And so you can take this in the form of honey sticks that are infused with raw Brazilian honey, or you can take the resin on its own. We've also got a gardening size, which is a lot more expensive, but also a lot bigger. And you can take it 1 to 3 times a day. I call it Prometheus because it is kind of a black oozing liquid. if you like, and you can do that once in the morning alongside breakfast, or like I say, up to 3 times a day. It's down to the individual, but that also is a great product, and Sam Creasy swears by that one at the moment. It's great. Just add it to your herbal tea. You can take it on its own, neat in the straw, and that's it really. Final note is, as you can see, we have this wonderful flashing Karmat behind us here. And we would encourage you to please support the Tony Samara Foundation for the reasons I mentioned at the beginning of my talk. And that's all I have to say about that. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you.
Thank you.